Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Monday, July 18th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is my turn to talk. Hey, Frankie, you're number one today. And how is everyone doing on this Monday morning or Monday afternoon? Monday afternoon, but it could be morning depending upon where you are in the world. Hey, Crazy Train, welcome, welcome. Okay, so I am going to get started. And let me stop this music. Okay, so today, hold on one second here. Okay, there we go. I had to turn my phone down here. Okay, so today I want to talk about rest easy. Can those we've lost rest easy? What does rest easy mean? And can our life's actions determine eternal rest? And I want to add another question in there. Exactly what is eternal rest? I mean, what does that mean? So I guess I'll start backwards. You go to church, you hear your pastor, reverend, whomever, bishop, whomever, talk about eternal rest. And people say, rest in peace. What does that mean? I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being very serious. If you're dead, are we going to know if we're not resting in peace? So then we start talking about your soul. Does your soul rest in peace? And exactly what is your soul? And I know I'm starting to get deep into the weeds here and everything, but when we say, now, they're at peace, now they don't have to worry, they're at peace. Well, they're dead. And when you say they're at peace, if you do believe in eternal rest, if you do believe that a person's soul can be at peace, how do you know? And if there's a heaven and hell, if you're going to hell, are you going to be at peace? I mean, what exactly does that mean when we tell people they can rest easy now? And can our life's actions determine eternal rest? So if you believe in the eternal rest and, your soul will be at peace, or they say they've gone to a better place. And I believe in the Bible. I do believe there is a heaven. I do believe there is a hell. Um, I do believe that we will, at some point at the end of our days, have to answer for certain things that we've done in our life. But at the same time, when I hear people say they're in a better place, sometimes it does pop in my head and I'm thinking, well, they're dead. So is that a better place? So what do you guys think? Because I just hear, you know, I hear these phrases growing up. I hear them now, and people say them, but do people even understand or even know what they mean, or are people just saying it? Oh, they're in a better place now. Oh, they can rest easy. If they've had a long illness or something, well, they're resting easy. Well, no, they had a long illness, they didn't recover, and they died. So is that a cold and callous way to look at it, or the reality is, if they passed after a long illness, they had a long illness, they didn't recover, and they died? So those are my questions. So does anybody want to come up? I have I have silent people here today, and Frankie, no disrespect to you. Um, so crazy. What do you think? You want to venture coming into the weeds with me on this one? Because another thing too is um, that's cool. I know people are at work. You know, um, when people say things like when people have passed away, and this is another thing that I'm going to throw in. Um, when people say, "I know how you feel when someone dies," do they really? And unless they've gone through it, then yes, they would. But again, when people say, rest in peace, they're in a better place, and I know how you feel, are those words that just come out because, number one, you don't have anything else to say, or they're just words? I mean, are we so conditioned that when people die, that we do use terms like rest easy, rest easy? When my father passed away, and when we had services, and people, you get to the part where the service is over and people are coming up to view the body one last time, and then they're coming, to you, and they're shaking your hand, or they're coming by, and they're saying, I'm sorry for your loss. Again, is that just a word that people say? Because when people were saying that to me, the thing that was popping in my head, are you really? Or is this just something that you say just to, okay, I viewed the body, I'm coming up, to the family, so I have to say something. So I say, I'm sorry for your loss. Or like I said, some people say, um, uh, they're in a better place. He's in a better place. She's in a better place. And I find myself, welcome, Brina, welcome back. I find myself, uh, I'm sorry, Crazy. I'm just reading your comment. This Monday is trash for me. I have had those. I have had those. And Power Girl, I know you're always at work. I appreciate that you guys are even taking the time to stop in. So, you know, again, those are things that were going through my mind. And another thing that was going through my mind at my father's funeral was when I'm sitting there with my sister and my mom, and we're sitting there, and the reverend is, talking, whatever. I find myself looking at this front row, and I'm saying to myself, this is where you don't want to be. If you go to a funeral, you never want to be the person sitting in the front row. And you definitely don't want to be the person who is in the front. And I'm listening to, people say, and the reverend's up there, and he's talking, yes, now, brother so and so can rest easy, whatever. And again, the way my mind works, I'm constantly questioning, what does that mean? How do you know that he's resting easy? How do you know that she's resting easy? If someone dies in a horrific way, if you die from, a gunshot wound, or you drown, or in a fire, whatever, but it's in a not, you didn't die natural causes, you didn't just pass away in your sleep or something. um how do you know they're resting easy? How do you know they're having eternal rest? So again, I know this subject is, I'm getting, like I said, I get deep into the weeds. I usually do, whatever. But these are things that I think about, you know, um, and I just want to know, when people say things like that, do they really mean it? And do they even know what they're saying? Or is it just something to say just to get them out of the room so they can move on to, talk to someone else, because being around the person who has lost someone is not where they want to be. They don't, you know I don't know. So those are questions, um that I have. um so, but anyway, uh Brina says, if you maintain a great relationship with that person, I think it's safe to say they can rest easy in that sense. Oh, Frankie, I wish you could too. But if you want to talk in the chat, of course you are always welcome. And if you want to come up on the panel, I'm more than happy, as always, to read what you have to say. Brina says, as a relationship goes between the both of you. But again, but Brina, okay, but when you say, but when someone says rest easy, or rest in peace, I guess I'm just wondering, what does that mean? Are you hoping that now that this person's gone? Okay, let me back up, because you came in after I said this part. Do you believe that a person's soul lives on after a person dies? Do you believe that everyone is born with a soul. I mean, if you believe in that stuff, do you believe that? Okay, so when you say, welcome, Mr. A. So when you say, and welcome, Doss. So when you say that rest easy, are you saying it for their soul? Okay. So again, so if someone died in a horrific way, do you believe that you have some people who okay, let's say someone was murdered and their the perpetrator was never found. Do you believe that their soul is not resting easy, that their soul is in a state of unrest? Do you believe that uh, uh, a person, in order to find peace, if they were murdered, again, if they were murdered, that the person who killed them has to be caught? You know, when you hear of people saying, you know, um, they'll never be able to rest easy or find peace because, you know, the person who killed them is still walking around. Do you believe? Okay, welcome, Maverick. Brina says, yes, I believe even if someone died in a horrific way, they can still rest in peace. Hmm. So I know what I want to say. I know what I want to say, and it's going to come out crazy, and I don't mean it to come out this way. Okay, so do you believe that there are some people who are soulless? And Brina, I know I'm I'm talking to you, but I want everyone to answer also. I mean, do you believe that there are some people who are soulless? Do you believe there are some people who, for whatever reason, for lack of a better way to say it, are born without a soul? So when they do die, they go into this abyss where they don't rest easy. They don't have eternal rest. And guys, again, I know I'm getting into the weeds, and I know that I'm getting deep and what have you, but these are questions that pop in my head, and these are things that I think about sometimes. Okay, so people who have dark and disturbed souls. Okay, so do you think that when those people die, like a serial killer, I'm assuming that are those one of the people who you say have a dark soul? Well, thank you, Brina. Um, Thank you. So, okay, so with a serial killer, when they die, would they rest in peace? Would they have eternal rest? And that's when I go back to my other question of, can our lives' actions determine eternal rest? So if I'm a serial killer, or I'm I rape people, or I beat my kids or my wife or my husband or whatever, or I treat people like crap throughout my entire life, can that determine whether or not I rest easy or have eternal rest? Am I going to be one of those people who spends eternity in hell, if you believe that there is a heaven or hell? Okay, Maverick says, I think everyone had a soul, and I would like to think that souls are pure. Just the person is troubled or bad. That's interesting. But Maverick, if a person is troubled or bad, then their souls are no longer pure, right? Or are you saying that everyone is born with a pure soul, but then throughout life, a person, if they're troubled or they turn out to be not a nice person?
Depression slick.
Okay, so Brina says, I think there's a difference between somebody with a dark soul and someone who's just broken. Interesting. Okay, and let me read this other one here. Let's see. Okay. Okay, Maverick, you say a little of both, and it's kind of above my knowledge. Maverick, it's above mine also. Brina says broken people do bad things too. Um, okay, so I I guess what I'm asking, and just to go back before you guys came in, my questions were, when someone dies and you say, if they had cancer or something, and you say, well, now they're in a better place. Okay, if a person um um lived a long life, and they died by, just they passed in their sleep, and we say, well, you know rest in peace. How do we know that? I mean, when you die, do you think that, when you die, do you think that your soul is going to be at peace? And Maverick, when you say a little of both, so again, if we're born with pure souls, and because we are human, we we're not perfect, and we do bad things. And when I say bad things, I don't mean that we go out and we rob banks or we kill people or anything like that. I'm saying we we take cookies from the cookie jar when our mom says no. I mean, we do things that we're not supposed to do. But if we're someone who is consistently a Mother Teresa, who for some people say, she was a saint. She was still human, but she was supposedly living a good life. Is her soul resting in peace and resting easy? And how do we know that? Or are we just assuming? I know I'm getting into the weeds here, y'all, and I I know some of my shows get really, really, really deep. So, Maverick, would you like to come up? If you, I'll send you an invite. If you'd like to come up, you're more than welcome. If not, I totally understand. Maverick says, "Can I assume this is a faith-based show? I don't know the context of the show. I mean, it could be. It could be a faith-based show. I guess it depends on, if what you believe, because again, I believe in the Bible. I do believe there's a heaven and hell. I do believe that at the end of our lives, um or the end of days, however you want to put it, that we are going to have to face someone or something to talk about, or answer why we did this or why we did that. But I guess where faith would come in is if you have faith that your soul or your loved one, whatever, is at eternal rest or at peace, is that something that you believe in because of faith, or is that just something that you wish? Mr. A says, I think the whole conversation would have to start with, do you believe in God? Okay, not all people think your soul goes to heaven or hell. Okay, so Mr. A, would you say that there are some people who believe that people just don't have souls, that there's just no such thing as a soul? Maverick, that's okay. Everybody who's in the chat right now are at work. So my understanding is all sins are equal. Yes, and that's my understanding too. My understanding is all sins are equal. The person who murders someone, their sin is equal to the person who took a pencil from the teacher's desk. So yeah, but should all sins be equal? Should all sins be equal? And if all sins are equal, because see now, Maverick, you have me thinking like this. So if all sins are equal according to the Bible, if you believe in the Bible, and yes, the Bible was written by man, if all sins are equal, then shouldn't the law treat all sins as the same? So shouldn't a murder be treated the same way as someone who robbed a bank or someone who who stole a car? And Maverick says, in my opinion, no, but that's not my call. That's our humanity. Okay. Welcome, Heiko. I didn't see you come in. Welcome. And Heiko, you say all sins are not equal in your opinion. I don't think all sins are equal either, but according to the Bible, they are. And it's interesting because when you are in court and you get up and you testify, they have you put your hand on the Bible. So you're putting on your hand on a Bible that says all sins are equal, but according to our laws, they're not treated as equal. Maverick says society has taught us to judge things the way we are taught or learn. Yeah, society has taught us a lot of things. Not all of them good. Not all of them good. You know, um, again, I know this show is, getting into the weeds, and you guys are making comments that have my mind just thinking in all different directions because I again, when I sit down and I look at things and I see things and I read things, these are things that I'm thinking of, that when people say, when people die and people say our thoughts and prayers, what does that mean? I mean, and do you think that when someone says, you're just like someone says, rest easy, or now they're in a better place, and you say thoughts and prayers, is that supposed to make people feel good, or is that making you feel good? Is that something more for you, or is it really for them? And Brina says it's hard to digest all sins being equal. I can't look at someone who murders another as being the same level as someone who steals. I Brina, you are absolutely correct. Michael says I'm just enjoying listening this show uh, after a while. Okay. Um, you know, again, welcome, Alpha Mike. So again, are those? Let's see. Maverick says it's both, but also mostly to comfort the person in mourning. But Maverick, do you think that when people say things, um, you know, like oh, Shorty is here. Hey Shorty, hold on. I miss you, and welcome Mama Bear Tracy. Hold on, Shorty. There you go. And welcome Mama Bear. So that's so that's okay. So again, when you say our thoughts and prayers, and like I said, when you're at a funeral and when you go, view the body for the last time, and you're passing by the family, and you're saying, thoughts and prayers, or you know, um, I'm sorry for your loss. Um, is that more for you because you don't, it's like, okay, I just got to get through this line. I mean, because you do have people who are in situations where someone passes away and people are like, well, what do I say? you know I don't want to go up there. Do I have to say something? So you end up saying something like thoughts and prayers, or I'm sorry for your loss. But are people really, when you hear people get on the news and they're saying our thoughts and prayers are with them, whatever, is it just so they can get through the news thing, and then when the microphones are turned off, they're like, okay, we got through that. I mean, okay, Maverick says some are empty words of pleasantries and others are genuine. It depends upon the person. Okay. All right. Welcome, Ninja. Welcome, Ninja Bunny. And welcome, Bert Schuler. Okay. It's just a nice formality, I suppose. And Heikel says, um, okay, you're talking to Alpha Mike and his vacation. Okay, so do you think, okay, so going back to my original question, then can your life's actions determine eternal rest? Or do you think that no matter what, do you think no matter what, everyone is going to have eternal rest? If someone did something, I'm going back to murder, someone, murdered your loved one or your friend, and in court you say, I hope you burn in hell, or they're on death row, and they're laying on that bed, and they're spread out about to get the needle, and you yell out, I hope you burn in hell. Do you think that's possible? Do you think that some people will burn in hell? And Mama Bear says, I hope some don't. Alpha says, me personally, I don't believe in religion. We exist and we die, live for now. And Maverick says, deep subjects, but I need to get back to work. Nice talking to you all. Maverick, thank you for coming in. Thank you so much. And enjoy the rest of your day. So, Alpha, when you say that, me personally, you don't believe in religion and we exist and die. So, does that mean that you think that when you die, you're just dead, and you're? Do you believe that you have a soul? Do you believe that you just die and that's it and it's over, and you just become this? shell that turns to dust and that's it. Okay, Mama Bear says, I think we hope bad people do suffer. I mean, is it wrong to hope that someone suffers? Is it wrong to hope that a serial killer suffers? Is it wrong to hope that someone who did that drive by and kill a bunch of people suffer? Is it wrong to hope that someone who went and shot up a school and murdered children or a movie theater, whatever? Is it wrong to hope that they suffer? I don't think so. Okay, Alpha says if it happens, happens. I think serial killers and child molesters are a waste of space. Brina, so do I. So do I. But Mama Bear, okay, you have to feel bad for their family members. Okay, so I had a show. I had a show a couple of weeks ago where we were everyone was kind of pushing back on each other when it came to family members, and um, if your family member knew, or if you as a family member knew that your son, daughter, husband, wife, whomever was a bad person, and you did nothing to stop them, just like you have some people who live in homes where a father may be molesting their daughter and the mother does nothing. So when the father, I'm just using this as an example. So when the father gets caught, should you feel bad for the mother? I mean, should you feel bad for family members if they know? Not all family members know, but if your family members kind of know what you're up to, should you feel sorry for them? And Brina says, yeah, I do too. Their actions hurt so many people. Then they are part of the bad stuff. Then okay, nope, their mom is just as bad. Okay, and the mom and says if they know, then they are guilty too. Welcome, Grid. And Alpha says, why is it always the father? The mother can't do bad things too. I was getting around to the mother. I want to talk about mothers who beat their children, and maybe the dad knew. The mother, is doing something bad to her parents, whatever. But again, when a perpetrator does something, it destroys two families. That is definite. But if you're sitting in court and you pretty much know that this person did what everyone says that they did, um, and maybe they show no remorse. Maybe they're sitting there laughing, or you have some people who sit in court and they just don't give a damn. And you know that they're guilty, but you as a family member, you're still there to support them, and you're there to support your family member who is on trial. Do you still feel sorry for that family though? Do you still feel sorry for them if you get up and you're like, please don't put him to death, or he didn't mean it, whatever? Do you still feel sorry for that person, and do you hope that they burn in hell or that they rest in peace? Okay, let's see. Mama Bear says, but most people don't feel bad for their family. It's a sin if they didn't know. Okay, Alpha says, how do we get talking about murders and molesters? Alpha, when people, I totally get it, Alpha, but sometimes when people say things, I read all the chats. I try to read everyone's chat. And if people say something, I just don't want to pass over it. I do want to acknowledge what people are saying. So that's how we got there. So um, but again, I am going to go back to the resting easy and moving on. So if somebody wants to come up and bring it right, there are multiple angles. Right, there are. You know, um, again, that's why I say that. And Alpha, when I say, can a person's life's actions determine eternal rest? So again, that's another way that we got on the whole murder thing, whatever. If you murder someone, are you going to have eternal rest? But if you believe that you just die and that's it, then I guess you would not have eternal rest. Welcome, crazy lady. Hey, crazy
Hey,
lady, you gonna pop up here? So
yes, absolutely. Can you hear me?
yes. Thank you for, for
Okay,
for coming
awesome.
up. So you want to
Mhm.
add anything? And I apologize for
Okay,
not greeting
well,
you. I didn't see you when you came in.
the way you stated that, I was sitting here thinking, gee, that brings up the question of like it's like atheists, they don't believe like it's like once you're dead, you're dead. There's nothing else. Flip. You know, can a society have morals without the concept of a higher being? Um, but I think that like when you say because like our body, that's all it is. It's just a shell. Um, like there's many religions that believe like you have to pay back. Like bad karma. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If not in this life, then in a future life. Um, and sometimes like something maybe happened in this life because of a past karma debt. You had like to like learn our humility or something like that. You know. So I mean, it's like it's a loaded question. Rest in peace.
But okay, so when you say I come back to it, then what does that mean? I mean, when you say rest easy and rest in peace, what does that mean?
Well, if you're telling that to a person that's dying, um, well, I would say if I mean if I'm telling things to the person that's dying, I'm trying to tell them, it's okay, let go, let let go. It's lay down your suffering, lay down, and let go. Rest. It's your turn to rest. His body's done. Rest.
Okay, but Alpha says maybe you don't rest. Maybe you get put right back into a new body, or maybe you wake up in another dimension, or maybe the system rests you
It could be
from
all.
the
It could be
beginning.
all of the above. You
So
know.
now the Chinese people think that you do come back as another person or as another being. You may come back as an animal, you may come back as another person. So let me ask this. So if you don't have eternal rest and you don't rest easy, and if you come back as another person, do you think that your previous life, and now guys, I know I'm getting into the weeds here because Alpha, this is how we get off into these other subjects, because I'm going by what you just said. And welcome, trying cat. um do you do you think that if what we did in our previous life will determine what we come back as in the next life, if you believe that we come back as
Yes.
something else. Okay.
Yeah. I think it does, if not in the life right after the one that you previously died in, but yeah, I think it does. I truly believe that, um, lessons learned, like energy wise.
So if you were a serial killer in your previous life, are you going to come back as a serial killer?
No, but you might come back as a victim. I mean,
So
it's
okay, so wait. So you say come back as a victim? You're saying that
yeah,
someone
maybe
who
that,
someone who
and
is going to be the victim?
to balance, so
Oh,
what
okay, got it.
what what I mean.
That's okay. That's kind of deep there. Okay, okay.
It's like, okay, like if in one lifetime you were a rich man and had no care for, um was like a really crappy lord or king or whatever, like didn't care for the people, didn't have you know empathy or anything for others, you know how you died, you're choking on some 24 karat caviar, something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
um you may come back the next as a peasant, as a slave, or and learn the other side, you know the other part, you
Okay,
know
now
feel the pain that you may have caused on another being.
okay. And Heiko, I don't know if you come back as another person, if I'll remember you. I may come back as another person. Okay, so crazy lady, what about what Trying Cat says? He says, so what you're saying is we're recycling our souls. And then
Well, in a way, yeah, but it's a recycling of like and better, like I think it's okay. I truly believe our souls, for lack of a better word.
okay, we lost you, crazy lady. I'm assuming she got a phone call. Okay, I
Yeah.
want okay. Um
Um. Can you hear me?
yes.
Or did it okay? It did it. It. Our souls are huge. Okay. Um. And eventually, we are going to I guess evolve. Learn everything. Learn, and we become one with everything. That's my belief. That we have to you have to I guess walk in another man's shoes.
Okay. All right,
It's
now
like how can you give something, how I don't know, it's like the yin and yang balance thing.
okay, so Brina says, ooh, a serial killer coming back as a victim. That sounds like a great movie. And Alpha says, a person is intelligent, people are chaos. Everything here is ran on a system. Religion is just another program to control a sector. And then Troncat says, in my opinion, once the body's dead, the brain is dead, whatever resides inside you is gone as well. There's no coming back. There's no going forward. You're fertilizer at that point. So, crazy lady, do you believe that? And I come back to and Alpha Mike says, let's just all sit in a circle around the fire, smoking some good weed and sing kumbaya. Yeah, I can do that, Alpha. So, crazy lady. I mean, so from
Me and you, Alpha.
what
We're right
Troncat
there.
says, I mean,
He could be right. I don't know. Um,
so
I personally believe that there's, that because the reason why I say I think that isn't all there is, because how do you explain spirits in the world? You know,
okay. So when you
seriously.
say okay, so I believe in spirits, sort of. But when people say spirits, I mean, I believe there are times when um, I have done something or I've said something and something. And guys, I'm not trying to sound crazy or anything. I'm really not. And something will like move or something pops up and I know, or I feel that that was my father telling me either you shouldn't have said that or you shouldn't have done that. So in that sense, I see spirits as telling you or giving you an indication of something. Does that, you guys are following me?
Some of them do that. Some of them do that.
You know, so I have to ask you then, you know, because Brina went into detail earlier. Hold on, let me read what Troncat says. I believe your energy is spread across the earth, but as far as coming back or moving forward, I don't think so. I imagine you've done that on your vocation. Okay, you all are talking about that. And okay, so Crazy Lady, do you believe that people have a soul?
Yes, I think we have. It's yeah, we do. We do.
Okay, so if you come back as someone else, do you have the same soul or do you have a different soul?
No, it's yeah, it's your soul. Um, it yeah, you're still, but you may not like remember your previous lives because um you're not meant to at that particular, and maybe I mean it's like something deep inside, like it remembers like not to be a schmuck or something.
But if
I just
you
I
okay, but if you come back as someone else, if you come back as someone else, and if you have the same soul, then like you said, then if you're a serial killer, you're going to come back as a victim. Then in some sense, then are you still going to be a bad person?
um I guess that depends on once you've lived in the other shoe, and you didn't like learn from it, you'll keep coming back to repeat until you get it. You know that yeah.
Hmm.
So there might be souls like that are trapped in continual cycle of war, and they'll never get out of that loop because whatever reason, whether they like the act of war, who knows. I'm just
Okay,
using that as an
so
example.
okay,
I don't
so
know. That
so
would
if,
be my intelligent guess about maybe how things could be ran.
if that's the case, welcome DMAC. So if that's the case, then since talk about eternal rest and resting easy, do you believe that if you're in that constant battle, then you are in purgatory? Do you
Yeah, then your
believe?
soul is not at rest.
Okay, all right. If you're well, hold on. Let me read what try. I try not to get too far behind in the chat. Troncat says, if coming back is a real thing, your energy is your soul, and the person you turn out to be the second time around, third, fourth, whatever it may be, is based upon your upbringing and what you're taught all over again. It determines what kind of person you'll be at death again. He has an interesting point. Um, Alpha says, I want to come back as a rich dude who's super fit. Um,
Okay, so the reason why I think there's got to be something to reincarnation is because like there are cases of like kids like 2, 3 years old that have memories, like detailed memories of a previous life, where they had like names and everything. It's like how is a 2-year-old going to know any of that and be like accurately right? There's just got to be something. You know what I mean? There's just got to be something to it. To
you have a point because you do hear of children who have great detail of certain things, and it's like, um, at their age, how would they know that? So could it be that they were someone else in another life? So
Exactly. That's my point. Because you can't. Okay, I don't care how intelligent a 2-year-old is. They're not going to remember that much vast information at the age of 2. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So and Troncat is leading up into my next question is, He says, for instance, if you were a good or bad person now and you come back as a bear, obviously you're going to learn how to hunt, survive, how to kill. If you come back as a person again, obviously you're going to learn to read and write, walk, talk, everything that you've done. Now you just repeat it, but also depends on your teaching. If you're taught by a killer, you grow to be a killer. If you're stop top I'm saying you're saying if you're taught by a teacher, by a preacher or someone kind-hearted, most likely you'll turn out to be the same way. That's just how I feel about it. So um welcome Sam, I am, and welcome Nana Yaha.
Trying out, you would bring up the nurture versus nature uh, theory. Meow.
So oh, okay, so do you think that who you were in your previous life will determine if you okay now again guys, I don't mean to sound crazy, and I know that I do half the time, but if whatever you were in your previous life, do you think it determines if you come back as an animal will determine what kind of animal you come back as?
I don't know. Never really thought about it.
Thank you for the super chat, Frankie. Well, I do try to come up with some interesting subjects. Okay, Tron says that's just accentuates my point. Crazy lady, if you do come back, if that's the thing, how do you know you'll be a person? How do you know you'll be a bird or a dog or a fish? Or how do you know you'll be someone who is mentally disabled or someone with Down syndrome? There is no permanent answer to this question. It's all theory.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
theory. It
absolutely.
is all theory. But I mean, you, it's like I don't know. Maybe the years that you're like live the life of a dog, or whatever. Maybe those are like your processing years or something for your soul. I don't know. Um, I mean, we all could be right. We all could be wrong. We all could be just like, I don't know, a speck in, a giant sea turtle.
Okay. Well, for my last question, Crazy Lady, I'm gonna ask you because you are on the panel, but I'm putting this to everyone. Are you guys afraid of death? Are you afraid to die?
No, not.
I'm not afraid to die, but and this is going to sound crazy to some people, but I want to be cremated. I do not want to be put in the ground because for whatever reason, I think that when you're in the ground, you're still oh you're aware of where you are, and it's like you're buried alive. But then people can say, well, okay, but if you're cremated, then you're in this box and you're being burned, and what's the difference? There is no difference in that sense. But for whatever reason, I just do not want to be buried. So I'm not afraid of death, I just don't want to be buried.
Yes, my wishes are to be cremated. My son, um, wanted to be buried, and I'm gonna ask him. I said, why? He goes, well, it just, because for some odd reason, he goes, anytime I think of cremation, I think, burning at the stake. He goes, it just doesn't set right with me, Mom.
Okay.
I was like, okay.
And Brina says she's not afraid to die. Tron Cat says no. Buried, cremated doesn't matter to me as long as it's quick. Heiko says, when I'm saying rest in peace, it means I'm praying for someone. Okay. And Alpha says, yes, for creation, no zombies. Um, I want to be cremated. Okay. All right. And are you saying, and Crazy Lady, and for everyone who wants to be cremated, is it for a particular reason, to keep costs down? Because funerals are
Part
expensive.
of it's that.
You
Part
know,
of it's that. And part of it is that way my ashes, like I used to be so my kids could split me up between the two of them. But you know, I mean, I do want some of my ashes to, certain things done with like just a little bit of my ashes. And just probably my ashes will probably go whoever inherits all of the dead people I got now.
Okay. Alpha says
Yes, I have a collection of dead people in my house. Okay.
cremation frees the soul from the body. Heiko says, I'm not afraid to die, but I am afraid to go to hell. And Brina says, I want my ashes scattered in the ocean. I think I haven't decided. And Mr. A says, cremate me and throw me in the ocean.
Yeah. Anybody that wants a piece of me when I'm dead, that way they could like make a locket or whatever, but they could have a piece of me.
Okay, so I okay, this is definitely my last question because Brina and Mr. A said you want to go, you want it to be scattered in the ocean. What's the difference between the ocean and somewhere on the ground or whatever?
Well, Ross's mom and dad are up on the mountain on their old property. You know, their ashes were scattered to the wind, so they're like up on the mountain. My brother, he requested his ashes be, scattered at this little cove we used to hang out at over in England, and that's where they went. I mean, I
Okay,
got a peep. I got a little bit of them.
okay,
Um, yeah.
all right,
I have some of my stepmom's ashes. And once in a while, it's an inside joke between me and her. She goes, "I don't care what you do with my ashes, just don't flush them down the toilet." And I told her jokingly, I says, "No, Mom, I won't flush you down the toilet. I'll just put you on the back of the toilet every once in a while. So when I flush, you get a little bit nervous." And I do that once in a while because it's an inside joke between us too.
okay. Well, again, I don't want to be put in the ground. I want to be cremated. Haven't decided what I want done with my ashes, but I just know that I do not want my body in the ground. And welcome back, Crazy Train. But I am going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for. I know this was a difficult subject. We got into the weeds. We went from murders and all kinds of things. So I appreciate you guys again for coming and hanging out with me for this past hour. So thank you so much. And Crazy Lady, thank you so much for popping up on the panel and chatting. I do appreciate that. So, guys, on that note, enjoy the rest of your day or evening wherever you are. And I
Happy
hope
Monday.
happy Monday. Yes, the start of another week. And Crazy, I do
It's a
hope that
magic
your day
Monday.
gets better. So, Crazy's not having a good Monday. So, and Crazy Lady, I am going to be sending you a message via Twitter. So, look out for that one.
Okay, I need to download Twitter then, I think, again.
All right. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. And go where the wind takes you. I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, and Crazy, Ba and I are going to be sending you and Coltrane a more detailed email on possible dates in August. So, Grid, Mr. A, Crazy Later, Ninja Bunny, Shorty, Heiko, Greenup, Power Girl, Frankie. Thank you all for popping in. Alpha Mike was here. Maverick was here. Thank you. And Frankie, thank you very much for your super chat. And everyone, thank you so much for liking the show. I do appreciate it. And anyone over on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, thank you so much.